That didn't sound right. Not at all. And
No.
hello there, everyone. It is the dear UG here. We're finally back to doing picks with Madden. Thank God. And before we get to the divisional round and we give a little bit of a recap of last week, aka the worst wild card weekend in recent memory, because four out of the games sucked. One so bad that I was forced to watch Monday Night Raw this past week. Um, and I hated watching Monday Night Raw. It was a fucking terrible show, but I won't get into that
Almost.
on this stream. But I'm not alone. Of course, I do have my buddy Dave, who I will say congratulations to your 49ers for winning. Even though
Thank
Jimmy
you.
Garoppolo almost blew that game for you. So, like you said all season long, Jimmy, stop fucking up, all right?
Yeah.
But anyway, let's go over the games from this past week and discuss them in a little bit more detail. Bengals and Raiders. Yeah, here's the thing with this. Well, I will say congratulations to the Bengals, the first playoff win in 31 years. So congratulations to that.
Yeah, I
Um,
wasn't even born.
but I will say this: a lot of controversy in that game, a lot of missed flags, a touchdown that a lot of people said should have not have counted because the whistle blew. Others were saying because the whistle should have never been blown, it was the right call. I have a strong feeling because of all of that, we're going to see a war next year come be put in that now when they look at touchdowns, they're going to listen to see if a whistle was blown. Because remember,
Probably.
when the whistle blows, the play is supposed to be blown dead. That's why
What
there's
happened if it's
controversy.
mid? So what happened if it's mid-air? Then what do you do?
It's still supposed to be dead. That's
Yep.
the war. So that's why a lot of people are confused, and I think it's going to be like that. Plus, I will say this: NFL agreed with the decision of it being a touchdown and backs the refs, but they're the only referees I believe who are not going to be in the rest of the playoffs. They got told that crew would not be back. So
That
so NFL
booger.
so NFL, did you really have faith in them? Because if you did, you would have them do another game, not say, "Oh, you're done for the rest of the rest of the postseason, go home." Kind of suspect. I'm sure they chose the other ones based on better refereeing, but even then, because that's how they choose who goes to the next round, who refereed the best. If you stood behind all their calls, you should have then, by logic, you said they did a good job, not, oh, you go home. So I do agree the Raiders kind of got gypped. There were some calls that went their way as well, particularly the roughing the quarterback, which was good acting by call, because that should have never been called. But there was a lot of judgment calls, and unfortunately, that's the problem. That game had a lot of judgment-based calls to where, depending on who you ask, some people would say that should not have been called, others would. Too many of that in that game. Do I think the Raiders kind of got gypped? I do. I do think that I got to give my hat to them because they did battle through the adversity. And I will say this: Raiders, make the interim head coach your head coach. He did a good
Yeah.
job. He deserves to be the head coach. He can't win coach of the year because of it, because he was an intern, but he should get the job. If he doesn't, that would be a shock. Um, Next game from last week, Bills and Patriots. That game was a fucking train wreck. And I had the Bills winning, and I know you did too, Dave. Correct?
Yes, sir.
The Patriots didn't show up, and I know a lot. And here's the thing, and this pisses me off with that game, the Eagles game, the Steelers game, and the Cardinals game in general. The teams that got blown out, all four of them, nobody's ripped them. No one, everyone's giving them a pass because all I've been hearing from the Patriots fans and people who watch the game saying, "Oh, they had a rookie quarterback. That
Uh,
pressure." First of all, he went to fucking Alabama, so they're bullshit. He played in
no,
the
no.
SEC.
I heard excuses. It was cold. It was cold. He didn't know what he was doing.
He played in the court against them early in the season. If you were that
Yeah,
worried, you should have
no.
just stuck to the game plan you had in the last one. Just run the damn ball. So fuck that
Exactly.
bullshit. And I'm sorry, you have Bill Belichick. You mean to tell me you couldn't game plan around the cold and your rookie quarterback to play well? Bullshit. The Patriots organization coaches should be embarrassed because they got destroyed. That game was over at halftime.
It
I
was
give
like
a great
30.
job. It was like
It was like
27 or
30
something.
to 0, something like
Yeah,
that.
that game was over at halftime. I tip my hat to the Bills because they did their job. They showed up offensively and defensively. But Patriots, you should be disgusted. I'm going to say this: if it wasn't for the fact you already had a playoff berth by then, you shouldn't even been allowed in there. But you had a playoff berth already. I'd rather seen Miami. That would have probably, or the Chargers. That would have been a better game.
Oh,
in my humble opinion.
speaking of Dolphins about that, the fucking stupid. How you gonna get rid of the coach? You
Yeah,
dumbass.
they were the dumbasses of the wild card weekend for ownership because, oh dear God, that was a dumb decision. So, Patriots, you should be disappointed. And if I hear anyone say, oh, Dallas lost, hey, sit on the couch, at least the Cowboys, and this is something Stephen A. Smith won't admit because Stephen A. Smith doesn't have balls. He can make fun of the Dallas Cowboys all he wants. But guess what, Stephen A. Smith and all you Cowboy haters out there? At least we lost in the final seconds. We didn't get blown out at fucking halftime and the game was over and people were switching. Okay? Case in point, Bills and Patriots. That game was over at halftime. People were tuning in to watch women's college basketball. Speaking of a train wreck, Bucks Eagles, another train wreck. That game was over at halftime. My mom was watching that game. I fell asleep. She said it was the most boring football game she's ever watched. Let that sink in though, because my mom's watched football when the Colts played in Baltimore. And my mom said it was the most boring game she's ever watched. And after seeing how it went, I agree. Philadelphia should be ashamed of themselves. And all the Eagle fans have been saying, oh, Dallas got eliminated too. Yeah, we did. But guess what? Like I just said, at least we lost in the final seconds. We didn't get blown out. We made a comeback in the fourth quarter. Did we not, Dave? Because I know you were sweating that Niners game for a little bit.
Oh, my blood pressure was going up the wall, man. That last play with the guy, he intercepted the ball. They fuck. And then,
so I'm just going to say this, and this goes out to my Raider friends as well. Raider fans, anybody who makes fun of you, just remember two things, and you need to tell them this. One, you made the playoffs. Two, we didn't get our asses blown out like the four other teams. Now, of course, the Niners-Cowboys game, I got to discuss it. It's only right. Niners played a good game until the fourth quarter where they almost blew it. Let's be honest, Dave, they almost did.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for a stupid play call decision, which Mike McCarthy stand behind, fine. And I get why Dak was. And I will say this, Dak. I feel like he was forced to apologize and he got fined because he called into the questioning of the refs. Between that and then the Raiders got fined for calling into question of the referees, I believe as well. And here's the thing: some Dallas fans have said, "Oh, he should not have been fined." He had to be fined because if he didn't, you would have too many other people saying, "Oh, we've called out the refs earlier this year and we've been fined." So it had to happen. Now, is he right that the refs screwed up? You can make the argument that there was maybe a few judgment calls that didn't go their way. That, if you look back, hindsight, maybe should have not been called. That's either here, near, or there. Now the play that kind of makes everyone scratch their head, the running play. I get why they did it in the sense of you had 14, 15 seconds. If you're quick enough, you can spike it. The problem was the ref you're supposed to hand it to, I believe, was behind them, so that he should have ran out of bounds, or they should have just did a pass, a Hail Mary there. At least try one or two Hail Marys, throwing it in the end zone, see what happens. So I disagree with the call, but Dallas will probably be back next year because if you look at the division, Giants are going to be rebuilding. Washington's rebuilding because of injuries. And Eagles, I don't think anyone's really impressed with how they did after seeing how bad they got destroyed. So Dallas should be back. The question will be the assistant, the defensive coordinator, the guy who rebuilt the defense and made it probably one of the better defense.
Kellen Moore or Dan Quinn?
Dan Quinn, because there's talks that he will be a head coach again. And there's talks that Kelly Moore will be being interviewed for head coaching jobs. So Dallas could lose the defensive and offensive coordinator.
You guys could get Mike Zimmer back.
I think he's going to retire. He's getting too old for this shit.
So is Pete Carroll.
Yeah, but Pete Carroll probably might retire as well. We'll see.
So is Bill Belichick, but
he's going to keep coaching until he's dead. But like I said, congratulations to the Niners on that one. I'm sure you'll going into the game a little concerned because even though Bosa, and then the other guy you told me they're both playing hurt. Yeah. And here's the thing: I know most people say you should play hurt, but the problem is when you play hurt in the playoffs, you actually get worse. Just look at RG3 from a few years ago when he was forced to play because they didn't have another quarterback.
Like Derrick
Derrick,
Henry.
Derrick Henry's first game back from injury. I don't know what Derrick Henry we're going to get, and we're going to discuss that in a few minutes when we make the pick. Um, so there's that. Chiefs and Steelers. Wow,
Nah,
Pittsburgh.
I didn't watch this game.
That game was pathetic. Now I will say the first quarter was surprisingly shocking. No one got any points. And then at halftime, it was 21-7 Chiefs. For Big Ben to go out like that, getting blown out for the second year in a row in the playoffs, ouch. And this was his swine song, so he's probably done retiring, whatever. That's embarrassing. I would be embarrassed to go out like that. Because at least if you lost close, you could hang your hat on that. Hey, we gave it a college try. It came down to the final seconds. Not, well, this game's over at halftime. Let's just go home and say fuck it.
And just think, their mother, the one guy, Travis Kelce's mother, went from Tampa Bay to fucking Kansas. Watch both her son play. Her son plays center for the Eagles, and her son Travis plays for the tight end for the Chiefs.
Exactly.
So, and the guy did a quarterback. He was a tight end. He did a quarterback, and he did a touchdown. His first ever touchdown.
But somebody says in the comments or something, why am I going off on the teams that lost? I just want everyone to listen to the blowout scores. Bills won 47-17. That's a blowout.
That really is.
Buccaneers beat the Eagles 31-15. That's a blowout.
Yeah.
You got to remember though, at halftime it was like 30-0. I think like 31-0 or something like. Yeah. Chiefs won 42-21. That's a 3-touchdown victory. That's a blowout. That's a 21-point win. And then, of course, the Rams beat the Cardinals 34-11. That's a 23-point victory. At least with the Bengals, Raiders lost by a touchdown. Because 19-26. They lost by a TD.
Yeah, but if they didn't, if the Bengals didn't do that timeout, they would have been tied.
Correct. Right? The mistakes would have tied it. And then Niners Cowboys. Dallas lost by 6 points. I don't get what everyone's saying Dallas and Raiders should be embarrassed. At least they lost with pride and dignity and lost in the final seconds. That's all I would say. The worst game of this week is a 4-way tie between Patriots Bills, Bucks Eagles, Chiefs Steelers, and that Cardinals Rams game. Best games of the wild card weekend would be the other 2 games because at least they came down to the final second. Speaking of the Cardinals Rams, this game was so bad and pathetic I couldn't even enjoy Payne and Eli. I literally had to put Monday Night Raw on. Does that tell you how bad that game is? I had to watch Monday Night Raw, which is one of the worst things to do right now because Monday Night Raw is terrible. SmackDown's not any better, but so yeah, Cardinals got destroyed by the Rams. It wasn't even funny. Which brings us to something that's been talked about. Everyone's saying that the Eagles head coach should be fired, Mike McCarthy should be fired, the Cardinals head coach should be fired, and I'm like, what the fuck, guys? They lost in the playoffs. At least they can say they made the playoffs. I guarantee you, all these other teams who missed the playoffs, they would gladly take if they were told, hey, your team's going to make the playoffs. They won't win They won't win wild card weekend, but they'll make the playoffs. I guarantee you they would be okay with that. Why? Because it means more ratings next year, because that means those teams will be on TV more next year. B, it means, hey, you did a lot of things right. That means you don't have to rebuild as much as some of these other teams. And if you're the Eagles, guess what? You have 3 draft picks, 3 first-round draft picks.
Yep.
So they can do whatever they want. They could decide to make some trades to get some players from other teams. So they're going to do good. Cardinals, guess what? I think the problem is they were so injured that, and let's be honest here, they're going to have to make some fixes because J.J. Watt's injury prone. There's a few other people on that team. And then Dallas, it's stop with the fucking penalties. Please. But that gets us to this weekend's game, the divisional games. I'm going to start with the AFC. The first AFC game is tomorrow afternoon at 4:30 on CBS. It will be the Bengals against the Titans. Titans are favored by 3.5 points. The Bengals got their first playoff victory, like I said earlier, in 31 years last week. Tennessee does lead the league, though, in NFL rushing attempts this season. And we also have Derrick Henry back ready for carries. Now, the funny thing is, the last time these 2 teams met, which, believe it or not, Dave, they have met, but that was when the Titans were known as the Houston Oilers, and the Bengals beat them.
Damn.
And that was actually I think the last playoff win for the Bengals as well.
Damn, that Boomer, the guy quarterback Boomer
Esiason.
Damn.
Now, what worries me with this game, what Derrick Henry's going to be playing? Is he going to have any fatigue? Is he going to have any rust? Because remember, he's coming back from the injury. We don't know how he's going to be playing. Now, I will say this, the Titans do have a good game plan and everything, but that Bengals offense is damn good. The defense, you can make the argument, is suspect, but that Bengals offense is damn good. And unfortunately, with the questions with Derrick Henry, we don't know which one we're getting. Is he going to be playing great? Are they going to use him limitedly? Does he get re-injured because this is his first game back? I'm kind of taking I got the Bengals winning this one. I just like the offensive weapons a little bit more. And unfortunately, all the pressure's on Tennessee because of the fact that Derrick Henry's back. Ryan Tannehill's got to show that he can lead this team to the AFC Championship. Joe Burrow doesn't have that problem. He played as much as I hate the SEC, guess what? He's played in the SEC.
Yeah, SEC.
He's used to big-time games like this. So I think there's more confidence there. So I'm going to take Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Dave?
Yo, did you hear about they doing the tickets for the games this week? They're trying to make it so the opponent's fans cannot come in the stadium to take over. So okay. But I've got the Titans over the Bengals.
So you think Derrick Henry doesn't have any issues coming back?
I think we still get the same Derrick Henry before he got injured. So that's still the same one.
So you think King Henry's going to be making a return, not the injured Henry?
Yep.
So no ring rust, no rust, no none of that. All right, fair enough.
Nope.
And to the next AFC game, which will probably be the game of the week. Out of the four, it would be the Bills and Chiefs. Kansas City's favored by 2 points. This is a rematch from last year's AFC Championship, where the Chiefs won that game. But this year, the Bills are looking for revenge.
And it's the rematch, and it's like week 5 or week 6 of this season, too. The Bills beat them, too.
Correct.
I'm pretty sure.
Josh Allen did have 5 touchdowns and only 4 incompletions last week, with Patrick Mahomes added 5 TVs his own in the wild card round. Because remember, they played the Steelers, both teams coming from the wild card. Kansas City, it's in KC. Chiefs are favored by 2 points. I got the Bills, man. Their defense is just that damn good.
Yeah, you got. Sorry.
No problem. They got a great defense, probably the best defense left out of all the teams. And the offense has shown where they can compete with an offense like Kansas City. The only reason I would be worried if I'm Buffalo this year has lost to some teams they should have beat, a.k.a. Jacksonville.
The Jags. The Jags.
So, because there's no pressure on Kansas City. Everyone's going to say the pressure's on Kansas City. No. All the pressure is on Buffalo, because if they lose this game, they're going to have a monkey on their back called Patrick Mahomes. Because this would be the second, because, they won't be able to get him off their back. And they need this win. Kansas City, the only pressure that's on them, because if they've been this would be their third year going to the AFC Championship game. If it does, they're trying to get back to the Super Bowl. I think if they do, that'd be the third Super Bowl in a row. So it will be interesting. But give me Buffalo.
Yeah, give me Buffalo.
Moving on to the NFC now. Rams and Buccaneers.
God.
Because, well, they're the Sunday game at 3:00. Tom Brady lost to the Rams in Week 3 of this season, and we had the Bucs ready for the divisional playoff game. However, Matthew Stafford won his first playoff game this past week on Monday night, and has the Rams offense hitting all cylinders. Now, I wouldn't say hitting all cylinders since you choked against the 49ers, and that is the biggest problem with this game. You have the Bucs, whose depth chart is shit, and they have a lot of injuries, while the Rams have all this star power, all this win-now mentality. But if they lose, there's going to be a lot of people who would not be on the team anymore. You're going to have Matthew Stafford's no spring chicken. Von Miller, no spring chicken, 1-year contract. Odell Beckham Jr., he's only there to this season because of the trade.
They got the Eric guy that came back from our retirement.
Correct. You have so
Eric
many.
Riddle, or what about the winning? You know what I'm talking about?
I know who you mean. Yes. So the Rams here, all the pressure's on them, and I am taking the Rams. I think because the depth chart's not an issue, they don't have as many injuries. Plus, the Super Bowl is in Los Angeles. Well, I have a feeling
Home field advantage.
they're trying to have that home field advantage like Tampa Bay did this past Super Bowl. I think for the Bucks, it's just too many injuries at this point. If they don't lose this game, I don't see them winning the next one, unless by the grace of God they play San Francisco. Because
Teacher versus student, teacher versus mentor.
I don't see Jimmy Garoppolo outdoing Tom Brady. As a matter of fact, I would say this right now, out of the quarterbacks that are left, I think Jimmy Garoppolo is the worst one out of the ones who are left. Him and Ryan Tannehill, because of situation. Some of it though own control, some of it not. But give me the Rams.
I got the Bucks. I got the Buccaneers.
Fair enough. And then that gets us to the other NFC Championship divisional game, which is on Saturday night at 8:15 on Fox. Niners and Packers. Now, before I continue, Madden has a glitch. Now, me and Dave laughed at this. It says in the Madden thing, the 2019 NFC Championship rematch game where the Packers took the win. Well, that's false. The Niners won that because the Niners went to the Super Bowl and then let a comeback happen.
Against the Chiefs.
Against the Chiefs. Now, Aaron Rodgers did lead a last-minute field goal to win over the Niners earlier this season. Now, San Francisco is ready for a rematch after escaping wild card weekend with a win over the Dallas Cowboys. But as we know, some of the Niners players will be playing hurt this weekend. Garoppolo's still playing hurt with his hand. Bosa's going to be playing with a little bit
No, it's his shoulder now. His shoulder. His shoulder now.
First it's his hand, then it's his shoulder. Just say his whole arm at this point.
Nick Bosa's like concussion, which he got cleared, and Fred Warner got cleared to play.
Yeah, I'm going to say this when it comes to the concussion. I don't think he was cleared. I just think some doctor's saying he's cleared so he can play.
Yeah, well, they gotta watch out because it's gonna be negative, it's gonna be like -5 degrees in the blizzard, and Aaron Rodgers, the running game sucks ass. They're ranked 27 in ranking, and the running, and our ranking for running is like 5. So what we gotta do is just run Devo, and Devo. We're good.
That's going to be the issue, though, because it's a cold weather game. Debo, to my knowledge, has not played in too many cold weather games.
He's from South Carolina, but Jimmy G's from Chicago.
So that's good. So I think if I'm the Niners here, you rely on Jimmy to actually pass. Because here's the thing: Green Bay's not going to run the ball. They're going to pass. So Niners defensively, if they're smart, you need to have the Niners try to beat you with the running game, which, like you just said, is not that good. The problem is, like, the weather's going to be the key factor here. If it becomes a passing game, Aaron Rodgers should win the match because he is the better quarterback.
But you got to remember, we're 3-0 against them in playoffs. We're 3-0 against them in playoffs.
In the playoffs,
so,
you are, but
that don't mean nothing.
That don't really mean nothing at this point. Plus, I think the last time you beat them, who was the quarterback in 2018? Jimmy?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe then.
But the last time we beat them in Lambeau was 2014. It was a championship game.
And Kaepernick
we
was there.
We won Super Bowl that year. We almost beat the Ravens. And the lights went out in the stadium. The lights went out.
So this is a tough one for me because I'm like, because to me it really came down to quarterbacks, and I had to go with who I trust most of this year, and that's Aaron Rodgers and the Packers.
But what Aaron Rodgers gonna show up though? What Aaron Rodgers? The one that lost to the Bucks? The one that lost to the Saints, or the one that's been I
think we're going to get the one that's pretty much been dominant most of this season. Personally, if Green Bay does lose this game, though, I expect Aaron Rodgers to leave Green Bay, which unfortunately does not help Jimmy. Unfortunately, since Aaron Rodgers is a California dude, there's already been rumored talks that Jimmy Garoppolo, win or lose, he will probably be cut or traded. I think Jimmy. Personally,
Then they rumor him going to Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers going to Steelers and shit.
personally, and this is before, because I know you're taking the Niners.
Of
The only
course.
way I see Jimmy staying with the Niners is if they
If we
win the
win, we win.
Super Bowl. That's the only way.
I
If
need I
he,
need to win $50. I gotta win the bet for 50 fucking bucks. Cause my Cowboy fan, the neighbor, my brother, he now he got to wear a jersey when we got he got to wear my 49er when we go on vacation. Now his wife wants to bet $50 because he's a Packers fan. So I need to win the $50. So 49, if you're listening, get the job done. Get
who
with
knows,
me some money.
who knows if they will. Um, so that should so, and I will say this: if it ends up being Niners Rams in the NFC Championship, there's going to be a lot of people crying bullshit because of the fact of remember the Super Bowl's in LA. It would guarantee a team from California would be in the Super Bowl. So expect a lot of people to if it's Rams Niners
Protest.
next week would be saying bullshit slash NFL rigged it. So just be prepared for that on Facebook and Twitter next after Sunday night. Um, well, actually, yeah, Sunday night. Prepare for that if that happens. Personally, because we discussed it, I would say out of the teams left, you would want Buffalo would be a nice story because can they finally break the curse? Bengals would be a nice story because they have never won a Super Bowl either. Titans would be kind of a redemption story in the sense of, hey, we
You almost won it by one, like 1 yard. The
one
Super Bowl
yard.
37. What was it? Super Bowl 37, 38, something like that.
Yeah, and we have Derrick Henry's coming back off an injury. It'd be a good Cinderella story. If the Chiefs make it back to the Super Bowl and win it,
Oh, well, no.
the
We
only
got to hear
thing
about his brother going, hey, being ignorant.
Mahomes' brother, yeah, that would be bad.
Jackson.
But it would show that Kansas City might be the next dynasty because of the fact of they would be in the Super Bowl would win the Super Bowl 2 out of the last 3 years. It would show Mahomes is probably the next GOAT, and it would give Andy Reid his second Super Bowl win, which a lot of people thought he would have more by this point. If the Rams make it, it would be the second team to win the Super Bowl in their home stadium, joining the Buccaneers. It would give Matthew Stafford the thing that's always eluded him while he was in Detroit. Unfortunately, it would also give Odell Beckham Jr. a ring, which means he would not shut the fuck up ever. And he would make fun of Cleveland for the rest of his career. Buccaneers, if they make it, it would be, oh, look what Brady did without all these people and all the people he had last year. Which, ugh.
But you know what's funny about that? If the Buccaneers do win, it helps Antonio Brown. He get paid and shit.
Yeah, that would be sucky.
So keep going, and it help the 49ers to get it. We'd be having 6 motherfucking Super Bowl rings. We'd be tied with Patriots and Steelers for most Super Bowl rings.
If the Niners win it, besides that, I think they would be the first 7th seed because I don't think Buccaneers when they did it last year. I don't think they were the 7th seed.
No, there were 6. There were 6.
6. So Niners would be the first 7th seed to win it. Jimmy Garoppolo could finally get out of Tom Brady's shadow, and then of course your head coach can finally fix that mistake from the last Super Bowl.
Fun fact before we go. Can you believe Matt LaFleur, the Packers head coach, Sean McVay, the Rams coach, and Kyle was on the Redskins coaching staff in 2014 or 13?
Makes you wonder what they should have kept him instead of what they did. Plus, if you're even getting back to the Niners head coach, you need a Super Bowl win to a degree because you have 2 things over you right now that have never gone away yet. Well, okay, 3 things. Your father, who won a few Super Bowls. Second, the offensive coaching job he did when you were the Atlanta Falcons offensive coordinator.
Yep.
And then, of course, the Super Bowl a few years ago when you let the Chiefs make a comeback in the second half. If the Niners make the Super Bowl and they lose or they get eliminated, there's going to be a lot of talk about him maybe being fired. I have a feeling, which would be very stupid. Because I already have a feeling there's going to be a few Niner fans, not you, Dave, but I could see a few who'd be wanting that. Because they're going to be like, oh, he can't get us to a Super Bowl. Oh, look what he did in the Super Bowl now. Second time he's done, he chokes again. Which I kind of feel sorry for him because he's got his dad's shadow on him.
Mike Shanahan.
Yeah, so I kind of feel sad for him in that sense, but at the same time, if he wins it, that would kind of ease it a bit. But first, he's got to make it. And then, of course, like I said with Jimmy, he can finally step out of Brady's shadow because no, I believe anyone who's been behind Brady has not led a team to the Super Bowl and won.
That
So
is true.
he could do that. And then, of course, the story with the Packers, if they make it, it will be will Aaron Rodgers do what Brett Favre could not do and win a second Super Bowl for Green Bay, which remember
You would think they had more than like 2 Super Bowl rings. You would think they had more. With all
yeah,
the people they had, you know.
defensive injuries and coaching, and that's what
Said
and that's
Bar
the thing.
Star and fucking Tara Woodson. Like, damn, you only got 2. That's
Well, no,
crazy.
they got more Super Bowls. They've won a lot of Super Bowls, but more, but not as many as you think. I mean, because yeah, I think they only have won 3 or 4, I think, but only one.
Like 3 or 4. I don't know.
Um,
But you would think they had one more.
Plus, if you're the Packers, you know Aaron Rodgers might be leaving after this year, so and you want to get that ring now because once he's gone, you're going to be in rebuilt mode, which will make that division very hilarious since Detroit's rebuilding, Chicago's rebuilding, Minnesota's
You got
rebuilding.
You got Kirk Cousins. Yeah.
Kirk
We don't
Cousins,
say his name.
Kirk Cousins would be the most experienced quarterback in that division, depending what happens with Aaron Rodgers, which that's a scary fucking thought there. But that is the picks for this week, guys. Now, normally I would do another stream, but because of how weather's been, I've already seen Power Flicker a few times. I'm not going to stream the rest of the weekend. We will be back Monday. Now, Monday we will be doing the game against Seattle in my divisional round, which let's just take a look at that real quick. And I want to see Dave's reactions to this since, because you weren't in that, because you may have left when we went to see who won the wild card games.
Yeah, I went to bed the other night. I was so tired and shit. And then stupid power, like, got the weather power bad here too, you know.
Yeah, I might stream tomorrow or Sunday night just to make up for not being able to stream Thursday night. So here's
I'm watching football tomorrow, so.
well, probably tomorrow after the games. Yeah, the Detroit Lions with Jimmy Garoppolo lost to Aaron Rodgers and the Seahawks 42-24.
Wow.
Your Niners barely got by Washington 28-21.
Who was the quarterback for the 49ers?
I'll have to look real quick. And the Chicago Bears got by the Saints 28-7. So it's kind of funny.
What the fuck?
It's kind of funny. That was like the only close game out of all 3 of them was the Niners game, like it was this past weekend. In the AFC, Broncos got by the Bills 21-17. The Tom Brady Chargers lost to the Titans 42-31, and the Dolphins beat the Colts 21-17. But you wanted to see who was on the Niners, and you guys play the Bears next. So we're gonna see who.
Probably it's probably Trevor Lawrence.
I mean, because I got to play Aaron Rodgers, so that's the interesting thing. I might actually just do that stream next anyway, because just to get it done. Okay, no, we want the
quarterback.
Okay, so I said you guys are playing the Bears, right? So let's see who the Bears starting quarterback is. Bears have Trey Lance, I mean.
Trey Lance.
Yeah, the running back for the Bears is Antonio Gibson.
Oh, not bad.
Receiving core for the Bears is Cortland Sutton, Marvin Jones Jr., and the tight end for the Bears is Nick Boyle. As for the 49ers, who we got to find, the tight end for them is Evan Ingram, is your best tight end. Your wide receiving core is Mike Williams, Sammy Watkins, and Kevin Harmony. So not a bad one there. And your running back is Ronald Jones II.
Oh, not bad.
And your quarterback is Russell Wilson.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Let's see. The next one I said was what? Titans Dolphins, right?
Yeah.
Titans quarterback is Joe Burrow.
That's funny.
Nick Chubb is the running back. The best wide receiver is Juju Smith. And the tight end is David. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that last name.
The what? The tight end?
Yeah, David Njoku.
David Njoku?
Yeah. I didn't want to try to butcher that. And they're playing the Dolphins. Eric Ebron for the tight end.
Eric Ebron.
Dolphins top receivers Kenny Galladay. And the quarterback or running back for the Dolphins is Ezekiel Elliott. And the quarterback for the Dolphins is Jordan Love. Now, the last one is the Ravens and Broncos. Ravens quarterback is Mac Jones, who the Patriots quarterback, go figure. Running game is Naheem Hines.
Damn, both Alabama boys too.
Yep.
So far.
Wide receivers Tyler Lockett, and then Michael Gallup. So that's not a bad 1-2 punch. And the receiving tight end Mark Andrews. So I think he actually plays for the Ravens. So
yeah,
that's who they kept, and they're playing the Broncos. So who do the Broncos have?
Drew Lock. I don't know.
T.J. Hawkinson for the tight end. Wide receiving core they have D.K. McCaffrey and A.J. Green.
Damn. Not bad wide receivers.
Running back is Raheem Mostert.
Right, huh?
And Travis Henry Jr., who's a rookie. And the quarterback, Lamar Jackson.
He betrayed the Ravens.
Well, remember, I did a fantasy thing, so that's where that happened.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see who I end up playing against, because I'm either going to be playing against the Niners or the Bears. And the AFC right now is between Baltimore, Denver, Miami, and the Titans. What's funny, though, I'm looking at it. In the NFC, the only home team who won over the weekend was the Niners. So they will be at home against Chicago, because Chicago is a wild card team. Seattle's going to be at Dallas. But Baltimore's the only one who actually... Dolphins won on the road, Titans won on the road, and the Broncos won on the road. So the AFC, I could be facing a low seed if I make it to the Super Bowl.
Wow.
It's going to be interesting, though. Do I get the Niners or the Bears in the NFC Championship game? But
if you win.
Oh, I'm playing Seattle. Have you not seen what I've been doing? I've been killing every team.
Yeah, I know.
But that's going to do it for us, guys. I will see you guys next time. I probably will try to stream tomorrow night because we're not supposed to have any more snow this weekend. So hopefully tomorrow night I will stream. And then Monday we'll get back to our normal schedule. But until then, everyone be safe in the cold weather. And I will see you all next time.
Good night.
And all that wonderful crap.